Hello everyone, this is Doe welcoming you back to another Sword of Convallaria video. Today we're diving into Lower Zone Difficulty 6 in the Tower of Adversity. If you're like me and didn't manage to pull Layla or Pamina, this stage can definitely be a bit of a challenge, especially with all the support skills being thrown into the mix. But don't worry, I've simplified things by focusing on just two of the cheapest support skills, and hopefully that'll help you secure a decent score for this level. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First of all, let's take a look at the enemy spawns for this stage. This level is all about mobbing and making sure the NPCs escape safely. Tranquillo himself can't be targeted, but every time you kill an enemy he takes 2% of his max HP as damage. On your side, if you bring characters with assisting cover, their cover count gets increased by 2 and they also gain a 20% defense boost. Since we're not using any assisting cover units in this run, that part doesn't matter for us. But if you are using one, keep that bonus in mind. Now let's break down the enemies you'll be facing in this stage and how to deal with them. Darklight Axeman gets a 25% attack boost when targeting dying units, so he can become a real problem if you're not careful. To counter him, use control skills to keep him away from low HP allies. Repositioning, ice walls, or terrain manipulation work great here. Darklight Assassin is highly mobile and starts off in stealth, so you won't be able to target him until after he attacks. The best way to handle him is with AoE attacks or by setting up alert attacks to catch him when he moves in. Mutants are tanky enemies with resolve and they hit hard. Try to predict their spawn locations, plant landmines to soften them up, and block their path with summons or control skills to slow them down. Dawn Maidservant applies a random debuff at the end of her turn to anyone within 4 tiles, and gets tankier if the attacker has more debuffs. She also charges for 1 turn before unleashing a large AoE magic attack. Keep your DPS units at a safe distance, far enough to avoid debuffs and the AoE, but close enough to burst her down when the time is right. Let's talk about the NPCs you need to guard in this stage. You'll notice there are a few NPCs positioned near the starting area. Your main objective is to make sure they safely escape through the designated tile before getting overwhelmed by enemy waves. These NPCs don't have great survivability, so you'll need to clear out nearby enemies quickly and use terrain or summons to block any paths leading toward them. Protecting the NPCs while dealing with constant mob pressure is what makes this stage especially tricky. So pacing your clears and anticipating spawn waves is super important. I've also included an infographic showing the different NPCs' traits and the power of hope stacks you'll be rewarded with once they've successfully escaped. Speaking of power of hope, you start this stage with 10 stacks, and if you've tried this battle before, you'll know those stacks play a crucial role in your success. To keep things simple, I focused on just 2 of the cheapest support skills from the main character: Explosive Traps, which cost 5 stacks each, and Outpost Tower, which costs 10. These 2 are super effective, especially if you don't have access to units like Pamina or Layla, who really shine in this map. First up, my favorite, Explosive Traps. These are incredibly useful if you know where the enemy spawns will appear. They explode on contact and deal damage to all surrounding tiles. You can even trigger them yourself by having one of your units step on them if needed. You'll also see later that they pair really well with Akambe, adding extra synergy to your setup. Next, Outpost Tower. These help chip away at tougher spawns and can even one-shot Darklight Assassins, which you'll see in action shortly. They're great for softening the pressure in key areas of the map. Now let's restart from round 1. I didn't use any support skills right away. Instead, I opened by setting up my team with Convallaria Flag and Tair to boost overall speed and energy regeneration. Gloria was there to reduce incoming damage while also increasing our team's attack output. On one side, I used Sophia's summon to lure enemies and prevent them from advancing too far. When the summon goes down, it applies physical defense down, making it easier to follow up with stronger hits. Over on the other side, Agatha started pressuring enemy spawns, while Momo set up her alert attack and followed through with her AoE to finish off any remaining enemies. Lastly, I had Akambe supporting from the back, buffing both Momo and Agatha to maximize their damage potential. On round 2, I set up explosive traps and an outpost tower at key locations to prepare for incoming enemy spawns on that side of the map. I also took a moment to heal the injured mercenary, hoping to get those extra Power of Hope stacks once he makes it to the escape tile. After keeping my support buffs active, I had Gloria clear some of the mobs on one side, while Agatha and Momo took care of the fresh spawns on the opposite side. Once that was handled, I followed up with Akambe's summons to clean up the remaining enemies. That trigger spawned a new wave of enemies, right on top of the traps I had placed earlier, which instantly wiped them out. Finally, the mutant redirected its attention to the outpost tower, and after taking a few hits, the tower finished it off for a clean round. On round 3, I started by placing more outpost towers and explosive traps in preparation for the next wave. I then buffed up one side's damage output, speed, and energy regeneration, setting things up for a strong offensive push. Gloria began chipping away at the mutant, and once its health was low enough, Sophia stepped in to finish it off cleanly. On the opposite side, I stuck to the same strategy as before, using Agatha and Momo to clear out the new spawns efficiently. Finally, I used Akambe's repositioning skill to pull the new wave of enemies into the traps I had set earlier, dealing heavy damage right out of the gate. The outpost towers I placed earlier, combined with Momo's alert attacks, helped thin out the remaining enemies and keep things under control.
木を見て動こう。
On round 4, I placed new outpost towers in key locations to prep for the final 2 rounds. Tyre buffed Gloria's side with speed and energy regen, and then Gloria followed up with her AoE to clear out some of the incoming spawns, assisted by Sophia for the cleanup. Meanwhile, on the other side, Momo and Agatha continued slaying enemies just like in the previous rounds. To wrap up the turn, Akambe finished off the remaining enemies using his summons, with Sophia's summon help as well.
Leon. 木を見て動こう。終わらせよう。
On the final round, you'll notice Tranquillo is finally in killable range, so I shifted into full aggression while still making sure the NPCs stayed safe. I placed a few last explosive traps in anticipation of enemy movement, making sure any remaining threats would be softened or stunned on approach. Then I pushed forward with all available damage. Gloria, Sophia, Momo, and Akambe all helped chip away at remaining mobs. And finally, Agatha sealed the deal by taking out a mutant that had been stunned by a trap placed near her earlier.
指示を願います。すまない。
So that's it for the difficulty 6 Tranquillo stage. I hope this was helpful in guiding you through the clear. The main takeaway here is that enemy spawns always appear in the same exact order and position, so with a bit of planning you can play around explosive traps and outpost towers to great effect. Even if you didn't pull Pamina or Layla like me, don't worry. You can absolutely clear this stage using other units with this setup. And if you don't have Akambe, there are still plenty of ways to work around it using similar strategies. All units used were on standard builds, so feel free to check out their individual guide videos for more details. This is a sponsored video, so if you haven't yet, make sure to download the game using the link in the description. It helps support the channel. Also, I'll be uploading my Difficulty 7 Underworld Entangler clear from the test server very soon, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. Stay cool, stay crispy. This is Doe signing off. See you in the next video.